Hello, hockey fans. My name is David. I thought I would start this video at 9:43 on the evening of Friday, 28th of October 2022, North American Eastern Time. I'd hoped to upload this video to YouTube via laptop, maybe get it quicker, and be able to use an iPad to present on the screen over there some scores of games involving Canadian teams. What I would do is mention that that a couple nights ago Eastern Time, the Oilers beat the Blues 3-1, empty netter from former Leaf Zach Hyman, and a game that was otherwise quite tight. Just gonna go for a moment. Alright, so just gonna try to go with the scoring summary as per ESPN. So, alright, so as you can see there, so I'm sorry if not everything's readable, but in bold. Bottom line is, we had Nuge having come up huge at the 13:44 mark of the third period of that game, assisted by Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. Hyman would score a goal of his very own with just under half a minute to go in regulation. An insurance marker due to an empty netter, assisted by Draisaitl and Evander Kane. So, very tight game. There have been goals in that very game earlier in the week by Jesse Puljujärvi, assisted by Darnell Nurse and Warren Foegele. A bit after 6 minutes had gone in the first period. Then in the next, almost when there was like 5 seconds to go on a power play, Ryan O'Reilly of the St. Louis Blues, assisted by Justin Falk and Braden Shen, to get the Blues on the scoreboard. The previous weekend, Jordan Binnington, the same goalie the Blues would trot out on Wednesday in that Wednesday game, had blanked the Oilers at Rogers Place. That game, that later game with the Oilers, was on the road for the Canadian team, and it was so yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag on. Where do we go here? Just gonna go back. All right, ESPN website is useful, but all right. So that was in a very mixed bag, where all games involving Canadian teams, bar that of my hometown Leafs, were decided in regulation. So I'm gonna do oops. Sorry if you can't read it. The lighting is not the best, but basically we go to, it was a 6-5 win regulation over the Blackhawks. Canucks won their road game 5-4 in regulation over the Kraken. Jets won theirs 6-4 over the Kings. The Leafs lost theirs in overtime 4-3 to the San Jose Sharks. That was the Leafs' second loss in a row. I'll go to some earlier games here. The Habs beat the Sabres in a road game 3-2 in regulation. Senators were beat 4-2 by the Wild by the Minnesota Wild in a home game. So overall, very mixed. So, turn to the games to take place. That's soon. All right, so we have the Canucks hosting the Penguins and the Jets at Mull Arena in the south of Arizona against the local Coyotes squad. So, new look Jets versus old look Jets. Very interesting here. So, it's been a rather mixed week. Leafs so far have lost 2 consecutive games. What was troubling is that the Leafs lost to a rather strong playoff caliber team. And against the Sharks, the Leafs' country club attitude showed its ugly head once more. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Claims made on the Friday edition of First Up 1050, the morning show of TSN radio station, Toronto TSN radio station, TSN 1050, that there'd been a whole bunch of players claimed Kolyakovo, the co-host of that show, or one of the main 2 co-hosts of that show, the other being Aaron Korolnik, that there had been too many players, among them winger Pierre Enval, Zach Aston Reese, Kyle Yarncrook, and Nick Robertson, who had underperformed. Well, there's no doubt that secondary scoring has been very hard to come by for the Maple Laughs. The Canucks eked out a win in Seattle against the local Kraken squad on Thursday, North American Eastern Time. Well, the game ended on Friday, North American Eastern Time, because it started so late. The problem is that the Leafs have 3 points in 3 games on their road trip. But because the Leafs lost an earlier game to the Habs, Leafs have 3 points over 4 games away from home and just 1 win. Things have to improve soon for the Leafs, because if they don't, make no mistake, there's already pressure for changes now. Let's hope that Dubas gets off his high horse and really start to do what Canucks GM Alvin has already done. Make some moves to shake things up. That may be what Dubas will have to do. It's looking likely. I'm very concerned that this road trip will end with just the one win, that over the Winnipeg Jets. A rather inconsistent team that hasn't exactly, it's done some things right, but again, it's time for the Leafs to wake up and start to smell the coffee. Time's running out for players to prove themselves. The pressure is legitimately on the Leafs players, whether star forwards or secondary scorers, to up their game or step out. We'll see what happens against the Kings and Ducks, but it's hard to be optimistic given the so-called country club attitude. But that's the fault of Kyle Dubas. Enough's enough. It's time for these Leaf stars to start proving themselves or get out of the way. We'll see what happens, but it's hard to be optimistic that the Leafs will snap their playoff series win drought at 17 seasons once the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs roll around. It may very well be the Leafs aren't even in. And if that's the case, the question will be how soon the Leafs will be eliminated. Hate to think about that's going to happen, but who knows? In any case, the Canucks aren't doing very well either. They did get a win over the Kraken, and handing Bruce Boudreau, the head coach of the Canucks from last December, his 600th career win. As an important a milestone as that was, the fact that the Canucks won their first game following the preseason is also a huge step forward. Whether that can be sustained, we shall see. Anyway, I'm going to be doing some switching between the Jets and the Canucks games. Let's see which one's first. I believe the Canucks comes first. The Jets come afterward. Anyway, go Leafs, go.